Hi, I'm Keenan. I'm a visual and verbal artist, and for the last 2 years, I've been trying to really get back in touch with my inner creative self, something that I had neglected for far too long. Um, for 12 years before that, I was in the corporate tech space, and I had built a career on very high quality work that I toiled over. I was definitely a perfectionist, continue to be a perfectionist, and found myself often paralyzed when I didn't know how to start a project or what the end product was going to be. If I didn't have a clear vision of what I wanted to produce, I would oftentimes just sit and think and think and think and just kind of fall into this spiral of endless ruminating before I could actually even start on the thing. And this was a habit that I built up. I've always been sort of a procrastinator, and I skated by in school being able to write essays and papers and whatnot the night before they were due and get A's on them. And so I think I tricked myself into thinking that that's the way that work needs to happen, and that as long as I'm thinking about it and kind of formulating stuff in my mind, that it'll all come together in the end. Doing that for 12 years in a corporate environment burnt me out. There was also that, and the fact that I had really deeply intertwined my identity and my self worth, this perception of my self worth, with the work I produced. And I got to a point where I didn't even really know who I was anymore, or what I valued, or what opinions I had, because I was always doing the work for other people to make other people really wealthy, but not really enriching myself. I tricked myself into thinking that the validation that I received was enough, when the truth is that I needed to be able to validate myself and feel good about what I did when I was being authentic. And so I quit. I recognize that there's a lot of inherent privilege in being able to do that. Not everybody can just up and leave a job. I had a really series of fortunate events that let me do that. And I've been able to kind of explore in those 2 years a variety of ways of being creative, some more successful than others. I think I've always been a very visual person, so I've always been drawn towards things like photography, and I dipped my toes into making videos on another YouTube channel that were more polished, creative essays basically on things like video games. But I've always longed for something that feels a little bit more personal and a little bit more authentic, kind of like a vlog, even though I don't even know if vlog is like the word anymore. I'm nearly 40, forgive me. Guy just felt really old. Anyway, but I've always wanted to be able to kind of get my voice out there and be able to kind of problem solve in the moment and think things through and process out loud, because just kind of living in my head feels really lonely. And so this is where I am. For a long time, I talked myself down about starting anything like this. Like, there are so many videos out there, there are so many channels out there, there's so many people who have figured out their brand, their identity, that what's what does this mean? Who is this for? What does this matter? And I think what matters is that I prove to myself that I can just do something because I want to, and it excites me and it seems interesting, and there's value in the creative process of just doing and figuring it out and being true to myself. That it doesn't always need to be a plan. It doesn't always need to be a brand. It doesn't always need to have some, you know, big payoff, or, perfect perfect product at the end of it. And I want to make things. I love video. I love hearing from people. I love seeing different perspectives. I love seeing creative uses of this format. And so that's what I am planning on doing here, rather than solely focusing on these polished, scripted, very well thought through video essays. This can be a place for me to create things that I just want to make, thoughts that I have, being able to talk off the cuff, create things, create videos and things that might resonate with people, but might not. They may just be for me. And I think with time, building up that resilience and being able to say that perfectionism is not the answer, that's not going to get me to where I need to be. Because I can't just keep banging my head against the wall, waiting for inspiration to strike, waiting for that perfect idea, or have a clear plan of how it's all going to work out before I actually just jump and do it. So if that sounds interesting, you know what to do. I really hate the sort of trite like and subscribe nonsense. I'm going to try and stay away from that, even though calls to action are apparently really key. But it's just not something I'm interested in. I don't want to grow into some massive channel that I've manufactured. If people like this and they resonate with it, great. But I have to imagine that because I am a person with a variety of interests, variety of thoughts and opinions, and I don't want to make just one type of video, that this may not be a place for everybody, but it's a place for me. And that feels exciting. So I'm going to do what feels good for me. That's it.